Yep.
which I wouldn't mind going on to my next track before my spring break.
Right.
Spa.
Oh.
Ending it on a high. Spa, of course. Great track. Sometimes it's a bit, but other times it has been great. That's why I feel like Spa has to be there. It's one of the tracks that has to be there, on my opinion.
That makes
But
sense.
yeah.
Finn, what have you got?
I went with. What round is this?
Round 11.
Round 11. I went with the Nürburgring GP.
Okay.
Not the Nordschleife.
No, no, no. I'm not that nuts.
Well, I've
Although
got
the
words
next
for
one
you.
after this is actually a bit nuts.
Oh, it's a bit nuts. Okay.
But
What's the reason
I
we've
think,
gone?
yeah, the reason why it's in this part of the calendar is because it's such a small window where there's actually good weather in that part of Germany. So to make
Yeah.
it as safe as possible, it kind of has to be in the summer. You know, kind of where it used to be,
Yeah.
Yep.
around sort of like the same place as Hockenheim. And I chose it over Hockenheim because I think it is a bit better. I mean, it's the home of German racing. It's got more elevation change, and I think it's got a bit more of a variety of corners than Hockenheim because Hockenheim's got a lot of hairpins and kinks. Whereas this has got,
Yeah.
it's got hairpins, it's got sweepers, it's got chicanes, it's got a bit of banking to it, which I kind of like.
That's at the back far end of the track, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is that turn 7, 8?
Yeah, it's something like that.
Well, I think since round 7, there's been a recurring theme that me and Finn are pretty much matching each other. I went with the German Grand Prix too, but however, mine are alternating. That is the only difference. So on a yearly basis, kind of like they did what they were supposed to do from 2010 onwards, where, in 2010, 2012, 2014, 16 and 18 it was at Hockenheim, and then 11, 13, and then what was supposed to be 15 and 17 were all meant to be at the Nürburgring. Having it alternate was quite good. So like it was different to go to different parts. It feels, I quite like Hockenheim, and I would like, if it was the German Grand Prix was primarily held in Hockenheim, I wouldn't mind. But as you mentioned, it is the Nürburgring. It really is just the home for German car racing. Like, it is just the home, and it kind of just feels dishonest not having it, and disrespectful not having it on the calendar of what is meant to be the pinnacle of motorsport. So I went with Germany, alternating.
Okay.
And
Right
just to
then.
carry on this matching trend, going into round 12, I'm almost certain that me and Finn will both be going for the Hungaroring here in Hungary. That's what
No.
I've gone for, at least. We're not matching.
Oh.
Oh my god, he has broken my heart. Well, I went with the Hungaroring, and this will be the last race of the first half of the season, which, leading into the summer break, it's a modern classic. It's underrated. It produces some really interesting races, primarily through strategy and not necessarily always wheel-to-wheel racing, although I think it has a case for that. But look over the last 10 years, most of
Better
the
than
races have
Baku.
been pretty good. And I mean, miles better than Baku. I would have 2 races at the Hungaroring over half a race at Baku. Over a lap of Baku, in fact. Although,
No, you said qualifying wasn't too bad. Anyway, I'm not bringing that up
it
again.
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Baku's shit. Hungary is amazing.
What did you go for, Brad?
So, seeming as my summer break has just happened, I thought, how could I kick the start of F1 off of a bang?
Monaco.
Now, there's only one track that can do that, and it's not Monaco. It is Silverstone.
Oh.
Great track,
Ooh.
interesting start of the season, like second half of the season, of
second, yep.
course, but just makes for good everything. Audience is intrigued.
I am. That is actually a really good
That is it.
shout.
That's a
I
good
quite like
idea,
that.
actually.
That's my idea.
Right.
You can never
So
fuck up with a Silverstone. Sorry, I just thought I'd say.
no, you can't.
No, you really can't.
So this is probably the most insane track on the calendar for me.
Right.
But because this country kind of lost its Grand Prix and it's not really got any good tracks apart from this one, in my opinion, I just kind of put it
Is
on
this
there.
Paul
And plus,
Ricard?
and this was also like this is also just like another thing that's just different to all the other tracks. But I put Le Mans on the calendar.
Oh, I was close.
Ooh.
And it's not the Bugatti
Which-
circuit because the Bugatti
you bag
circuit
it.
is really bad. But the full, like, I don't know how long it is. Is it like something like, like 11 miles, something like that? I don't know how long it
Something
is.
ridiculous like that, yeah.
But again, it's something different, and it does actually provide for the good racing. That there is going to be enough good racing. The only thing is that it doesn't need DRS because the straights are long enough as it is.
What, just for slipstream?
Yeah. Well, it can have DRS, but it can have it on the start finish straight or coming out of
Yeah.
Arnage towards the S's.
Kinda like
But
Saudi.
it doesn't need it on the public road section of the track because those streets are long enough. But yeah. Again, another outlier spices up the season.
Yep. If it wants to be different.
Quirky.
What about your round 13 then?
So this is the last one before the summer break, and it has to be Hungary.
Yeah.
Okay.
At
as a
Balaton
racer.
Park. No, it's at Hungaroring.
I was going to, don't tell me it's at Ballington Park.
But yeah,
Absolutely not.
it's again. I don't really have much to say on it that hasn't already been said. But yeah, it is one of the best tracks for racing. But on paper it shouldn't be, but it just is. So deal with it.
That is facts.
It's
It
staying
shouldn't
on the
be, but it
calendar.
is.
It really shouldn't be. It just does.
Unless if we've just been really lucky for like 10 years in a row.
Yeah. I'll follow it up with my first race after the summer break. You'll be surprised to know that it's Spa-Frank the Tank.
Yeah.
You have to come back to F1 after a summer break, usually with a race that slaps. Belgium,
Yeah.
Belgium's Grand Prix haven't particularly been amazing. I think the last race that you might consider moderately decent was maybe in 2019, but you could
Yeah.
be even stretching there. It's such an iconic
I really like
track.
2021. It's my favourite track.
The best race of the season.
Best
I mean,
race. Of course.
but I mean, it's so iconic. Like it's one of those ones that again, it has to be on the calendar, and I think the time of year is questionable. I was debating putting it as the last race before the summer break,
Like me. Yeah.
just because it'll be in July, and you know it'll be weather-wise, it will be safer than running it in late August, early September, where it could bucket it down with rain, and we know how dangerous that can be. But
Yeah.
it just has to be there.
Yeah. Well, of course, I can't miss out this track. Is Austria. Like you guys explained before. Austria is just a great track. Sector 2, great. Sector 1, interesting. Sector 3, shit. No, but it has to be on the calendar. Very much like Hungaroring, very much like Silverstone, very much like Spa.
It's come into its own
It's-
in recent years.
It's
Yeah.
found its way, and it's one of them. It's not leaving type of tracks not for a while anyway.
Mm.
So that's my thought
So
process.
I love his description. It's Sector 1, Sector 2, Sector Pit Lane.
Sector shit, yes. Yes.
What about your round 14?
Okay, I'll get involved in this. Netherlands.
I mean, you don't have to if you don't want to.
I will. No, you know what? I'm gonna shy away and just sit the corner. No. Netherlands is my track of choice. Yet again, I think during this time it'd probably be about about September during this time. So it'd be alright weather, but Netherlands, I think, is a track that is sometimes boring. But if we was to get weather, which we haven't had, but if we was, that'd make things very interesting.
I mean, wet weather on a banking circuit would be.
Mate, that'd be great.
I don't even know if the race could happen.
Oh, it would find a way. If I'll put Michael Massey in charge, don't worry.
Well, you can get
He will
Spa
make
going.
a way. Yeah, exactly. No, so I do think if there was a bit of, just a little bit of something, just to change, instead of it being bright sunshine, it would make it a little bit more interesting. Plus, well, that track
Sprinklers.
is very critical on where you place your car.
Hmm.
It is kind of like Monaco. It's Monaco, but without the tight walls, because you have to be so pinpoint accurate with lines. Otherwise, you're missing the next corner. So that's my idea.
I'm gonna volunteer to go last. So
Okay.
I'll allow
Well,
you to go
first
next.
race back after my summer break, and it's just Spa, because why not? Just kind of has to be. Not much more to say. It's
yeah.
just one of the best tracks. I know it's one of the drivers' best tracks. We can't really get rid of it.
Mm.
It's Max Verstappen's favorite track, so we gotta have one race where he's not whinging about something. So we kind of have to keep Spa on there.
Yeah. I have opted for a slightly different approach, and I have decided to completely get rid of Zandvoort. It's not on my calendar. It would not follow up Spa, and it's a good track. I mean, last year's race, it was quite entertaining, and it was interesting. I liked it. It's not that I didn't enjoy it, but it's just not for me, personally. I'd be happy to go somewhere elsewhere. Maybe the land of pizzas, and that's where I've gone. To Italy. But not the Italian Grand Prix you might be expecting. I have gone for Mugello. Put it on the calendar, please. I love Monza, and the races absolutely slap. Mostly, sometimes.
Not really.
Kind of, not really. But I want to see something a bit different. Like, I'm not saying Mugello has to be permanent over Monza. They could probably alternate, or a 2-for-1 ratio probably at Monza, because, yeah, the Tifosi would probably cry. But I think I want to see something a bit different. And in the same way that earlier on Brad said Fuji in terms of his Japanese Grand Prix, I would like to see Mugello. I think the
That's
track was
Fuji.
amazing.
I'm joking.
Fuji.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've gone for Mugello as my round 14 to follow up Spa.
Interesting.
For 15,
I
we
kept
have
it the
left.
same.
For
Give me
15,
one sec.
I've.
I was going to bed.
Oh,
All
in
right.
fairness, actually, if you kept it the same, you might as well go first.
Yeah, I kept it as Zandvoort as the race that followed Spa. Again, new flavour because it's got bankings. Well, it's got the
Flavour
most
Flav.
prominent bankings on the calendar. But again, another track that I think if I to improve the racing, I don't know what I'd do.
There
But-
isn't really much to be done.
No, I think it needs just a couple of good years, and in time it might get better. But yeah, we haven't seen mixed conditions there yet, so
Yeah,
Well, yeah.
true. Mixed conditions at Zandvoort would be interesting, so I get your decision. What did
but yeah,
Brad
still
go for?
when Overtake is performed,
sorry.
it is quite special because it's such a narrow track, so that's pretty nice. But that's all I gotta say.
This is gonna turn some heads. At not the track, but it's gonna
My
turn
head,
some
you had
heads
my head
at-
turned at Valencia.
It's gonna start turning at the time. Australia
Oh,
is after
Interesting.
Netherlands. Now, yet again, I could never get rid of this track because I love it. But I think further in the year, in the second season, so when I say second season, I mean after the summer break, I think that'd be very interesting because it's not only sunny, but I just think it'd be very, just add
Yeah,
to
I
the
get that.
drama, add to things, and I think it'd be very cool.
Okay.
Cool, Finn, what are you questioning? Go on,
Just the only problem with that is that where you've put Australia is right in the middle of winter over
Yes, that's the point.
there. Okay.
That's the point. I'm not doing it to dodge the window. I want drama because that track is
I want
drama.
problems.
It is Daniel Ricciardo as a track. It's
What,
great.
washed?
No, he's not washed. You cunt. He's
Everyone in the trouble
great.
section cries in Australian.
Yeah,
Jesus.
so that is why I've done that. I think weather would be interesting considering it's majority been sunny. But
Fanny.
I'm gonna jump onto Jack's. Wait, have we all finished ours? Was I
We
last one?
finished, yeah, round
Okay.
14 there, yep. So we're on 15 now.
Kyalami.
Of course, it was gonna be on
It
there.
had to be done. Barbecue section, Ingwer. Mate, what do you want? What more do you want? Nothing. Ingwer. So yes, Kyalami. I'd love a track in South Africa.
Give us an African
End of the
Grand Prix.
season, so it's not so hot. Of course, they don't have water, so it's just gonna be droughts. But apart from that, it will be good. Why are you laughing at that? They don't. They have droughts. I'm not being racist. They have droughts. It's a fact. Don't stop fucking pointing fingers and laughing at me like I'm out of order here. I'm not.
I'm gonna say some really racist things.
Never me. Could never be me.
What did you go with?
So I went for the Italian Grand Prix. Let's keep it at the same as what it normally is. Except that it's not the same because it's at Mugello.
Yes.
Yes, I thought he was questioning me earlier when he just went dead silent. I thought he just didn't like the fact that Pit Mugello.
Well, you guys know that I'm not the greatest fan of Monza, and to be fair, I don't
actually,
think
yeah,
Monza's
true.
not that great at the moment. It's sort of losing its sort of importance on the calendar because it used to be unique because it was the fastest track on the calendar, and it
The
still is the
temple of
fastest
speed.
track. But there's so many tracks now that are almost as fast as it that it's not really got its uniqueness anymore.
Mm.
And even though, yeah, I've included a lot of tracks that are very similar to each other, Mugello just like, it's so fast, but it's got so many corners on it. But I'd rather watch that than watch Monza, honestly. And it should
Okay.
probably be a track that, I mean, it's closer to Ferrari's home base than Monza is, so it kind of makes more sense as the Italian Grand Prix. Because
Yeah.
you've got Mugello that's really close to Ferrari's home base, and then you've got Imola, which is really close to AlphaTauri's home base, and then Alfa Romeo aren't actually really Italian, so well in Formula One they're not Italian. So the
No.
two Italian races are actually close to the Italian teams, so Monza can get gone.
A very blunt assessment, but a fair one,
It's just
in all
boring.
honesty.
Monza's just boring.
Not all the time, but
Just most of the
recently-
time.
No, man.
Don't let the surprise race winners get under your skin.
I don't. No, I don't. 2020 wasn't a great race. It really wasn't. Right up until the point where the red flag came in, it wasn't. It was boring. Hamilton was going to cruise off to victory. Like, it was pretty much set in stone. Do you remember they had that graphic for him winning his 90th race or 80th or whatever it was? They had the graphic ready. They all knew that Lewis was going to win that. But then shit hit the fan. And all of a sudden, Bosch is at the back. Pierre
Bosh.
Gasly, Lance Stroll, Carlos Sainz, all on the podium. Not necessarily
In that
all
order.
the Sainz,
Quickly,
No, they
can I
weren't.
just ask
but
what
2019
do you
and
guys
18
think
flaps.
about the Monza curse? Every time that a winner wins, they then
DNF
like,
next year.
DNF the next race. It was Gasly. Gasly DNF. Daniel Ricciardo got it. Daniel Ricciardo.
Yeah, actually, It actually
DNF.
it started
When
with
Max-
Leclerc in 2019 when he won it.
I know, but that's from what I remember up to, because I'm a little faggot that can't remember it. But yeah.
Great. So the
Great.
season you started watching, you couldn't remember.
No.
Great.
No, I
My
know you won
round
it,
15.
But yeah.
Moving swiftly on.
Fid's
Now,
reaction.
yeah, I know. I have skipped a pretty. I think you guys definitely like the track that I've put this track in favour of. It's a track that's on the current F1 calendar, but we've only seen one race there, and that's Qatar in Losail.
Oh,
Oh.
Losail,
Oh.
the Losail International Circuit
okay.
in Qatar. It's, as we've
Where is it
experienced from the
again?
game, Qatar, if you didn't know.
Cool.
You know, Qatar. It's just.
I love
Obviously,
racing in
we've had the one
Bahrain.
racing. Racing it in the game is obviously different to real life, but our experiences in the game, I think we've really got to like realize how incredibly fast and flowing and like just how great the track actually is. It's challenging, but it's so fun. And the 2021 race really wasn't that bad. I think it was interesting. It brings a new dynamic in terms of its, you know, the stress it puts on the tires, especially that front left. It takes it takes an absolute beating through the fast corners. It is just cool under the lights. It's a great circuit, and I am actually more than happy in my calendar to have it over the likes of Singapore.
Yeah. I'd prefer
For
it to
me,
Singapore.
anyway. That's why it's there for me. Following
And
Monza.
for me-
After a week off.
I have
So you're
gone
around
with
16 now?
Singapore's cousin. Not really, but it's just next
China.
to Singapore. I've put Malaysia on the calendar. After
the end?
For round
Magello.
16.
Yes.
Okay.
After Magello. Go to Malaysia. Carry on the feel-good hype. After realising that Magello's better than Monza, and then going to Malaysia, realising that it's better than Singapore.
I'm going to follow this up and also say that I have also put Malaysia around 16. It slaps.
Wow.
It's incredible. The track is amazing. If it doesn't, it really doesn't even need to be a spectacular race. It's just an amazing track. Like, there's so many like 2012, 2013, 2017 to some extent. All the races, and 2015 of course. There's so many good races there. The track is incredible. It just needs to be there. The corners are it's amazingly wide. The corners are fun. They're different. Like a long ass turn one followed by a more narrower but still fairly lengthy turn two. Sweeping it. It's just a great track. I love it. Bring it back, please.
I. I've gone with a
What?
track that isn't capable of holding an F1 Grand Prix.
Great.
But if they could, it would be a interesting
Bahrain's go-kart track.
Nordschleifer.
What?
I knew he was. I knew he was lining up early because he said when you said the GP circuit, and it was like, well, he did mention it earlier.
Yeah, so I have written down Nordschleifer. That wasn't all I wrote, but of course that's not capable because of the track itself. So I did put Hockenheim down as a replacement track because Hockenheim is a great track, I think.
I'm just gonna say it now. The Nordschleifer is a preposterous idea. No,
No,
no.
it's not.
It would be cool
Carnage.
to drop.
Intense.
No. If Carnage was so good, then Baku would be one of the best tracks on the fucking calendar.
It wouldn't be because Carnage doesn't happen there. All what happens there is I'm driving at 190, left turn,
2017
left
was
turn,
not a good race,
left
but
turn.
it's heralded as one of the best races of the last decade.
No.
It's not a good track. The Nordschleife, it would be cool to drive an F1 car around there. Don't get me wrong.
Yes,
For a race,
that's what
no.
I mean. Yes, for one race. Not saying
No.
consecutively, but for my year, my calendar that I've written.
My truth.
Having that track, I think would, because I don't give a fuck about the drivers. I care about the action. I am one
Alright,
of the pit
Michael
stop
Massey.
boys. I am the pit stop boys, and frankly, I care
No one gives a
about
fuck about
action, carnage. I care about all that. So, Nordschleifer.
You should probably like back in more then.
No,
Yeah.
no, no! It's not a good track. It's not.
No.
90, 90, 90, 90 right.
90,
90 left, 90 right. 90 right.
No.
Castle section. 90 left, 90
Nine, nine,
left,
nine.
90 left. Like, I've just fucking said the whole track. Like, 45 right, done. No, that's not fun. Nothing fun is about that. I don't care what you say. Nothing's fun is about that track.
But Valencia.
Mate, I'm not saying that because of what's happened previously. I'm saying that because I think it'd be. I'm curious to see how next year's car will be because we haven't raced there for a while. That's my reasoning.
There's a
I'm not
reason
saying
why
that
they
'cause
haven't raced
I've
at
watched
the Nürburgring
Valencia.
for a while. I mean,
Well,
the Nordschleife.
I would be terrified to have the Nordschleife there.
Yes, that's why it'd be great. Because you're not racing it.
No, but I don't want to have the drivers just. I don't want to leave that Grand Prix having seen about 5 drivers decapitated at turn 27.
I wouldn't mind watching them lively.
Great, let's swiftly move on.
Yep. Round 17.
Joke. It's a joke. Calm down.
And for me, I put Qatar as the next race. Because it has grown on me. I didn't think it was that great in 2021. But honestly, I don't care because not every track has to be a good track for racing, as long as it is amazing to drive. And like Brad, I do care about the drivers, and I think the drivers will have an absolute treat driving this flowing track. So yeah.
It's amazing, yeah. I'm gonna let Brad go next.
Oh shit, hold on. What's that? So I need to run over to my phone. I have gone with Singapore. Can't forget Singapore. Great track, personally. Crashgate and that. Cool.
I don't rate it.
I do.
It's-
I
it-
love Singapore.
It's better than others.
Yes.
Like it can throw up a
It's
few
about
interesting races. Yeah, of course.
Valencia.
It throws up more interesting ones, but I just it looks cool, but I don't like the hype around it whenever it's presented as it's amazing. Yeah, no, like,
do.
it's okay. It's tolerable, but it's the reason.
But we're
because
not
it's
going for tolerable.
Exactly. So that's why I'm not including it. Instead, I've gone with the Bud International Circuit in India, like Brad did earlier in the season.
India, yes.
It used to be held around that part of the season anyway, around this whole second Asian phase of the championship. And I feel like, obviously, we've gone from Qatar in the Middle East, then back to Malaysia, which is obviously in Asia. Following up with India just makes sense, and it's just I think it's a great circuit, and it would be cool to see these cars go around it. So, that's why I went with that.
Nice.
What's that?
Round 18, continuing my Asian trend, I followed it up with the Japanese Grand Prix in Suzuka. It's just an icon on the yes, the races there aren't spectacular. Let's be real. It's a driver's favourite. It's low-key a fan favourite, and like we all love just watching the cars being thrown around that circuit. That first sector is flowing. The second sector is fun. It's creative, obviously, and if I'm right, it's the only track that actually overlaps itself. In terms of like it goes underneath the bridge, and then when you go back over the bridge, like, you know what I mean, it actually crosses over. It's the only Formula One track that actually does that. It was creative. I thoroughly enjoy watching the cars go around there, even though the races aren't particularly amazing. it can throw up the odd race. Like last year when the weather was absolutely abhorrent. Despite the 2 hour wait at 6 o'clock in the fucking morning.
Yeah, that was terrible.
I did an all-nighter to stay awake to watch the cars race for about 60 seconds and then spent 2 hours trying to pin my eyes awake
I woke up
to watch
and
40 minutes of racing.
I woke up and I was like, oh, let me see if F1's ended. And then I was like, oh shit, they're still racing, this is great!
Not even started.
So, yeah.
I'm worried now. Because
Why?
God.
because I put as like continuing the Asian part of the season, I put Saudi Arabia as my next race,
Okay.
which
That's not bad.
but this is probably the point to say where there is no Japanese Grand Prix on my calendar. I got rid of both Fuji and Suzuka because Suzuka, I mean, yeah, I do quite like Suzuka, but after Degna 2 for me, the track sort of really declines in character for me. I don't rate the track after the first sector plus the 2 Degnas.
Okay.
And again, the lack of racing doesn't help it. Obviously, I get that I've put other tracks in there that aren't great for racing, but this is just me. And plus, this is just 1 year. This is just 1 year, and we've already survived 2020 and 2021. So surely we can survive another year where we don't have Suzuka, and we can actually have some racing.
Yes.
Yeah, tracks like Azerbaijan.
Well,
Yeah, man.
I mean, no, not really.
Let's watch procession at the free circuit instead of a proper
Well,
circuit.
I have not put Suzuka on my track, but I have put Fuji, so that's the difference. But I have put Qatar for my track, because you can never forget Qatar. That's a great track.
Even though we didn't even
It's-
know it existed before 2021.
Exactly.
I didn't
but,
know it existed until.
but
I heard
Qatar
the
has
players
been
were on it.
great, personally. So.
Plus
and
Fernando Alonso
F123
podium.
F123 does help that drastically, so yeah.
Mm.
I
Round
might as well say
19.
mine. I might as well
Go
say
for it.
mine because it goes on par. Saudi Arabia. I
Yeah.
prefer Saudi when it's at the end of the season, like 2021.
Yeah,
I
same.
thoroughly enjoyed when we had the flurry of them tracks. And I definitely do think that it is more of a end of year track than a start of season track. And you
That
cannot
makes
miss it out on
sense.
the
That was the
calendar.
one. That was the one thing I was debating was whether to put it at the start as round like sort of 2, 3, or whether to put it in my final stretch, like the final 3 or 4 races to see out the season. But I opted for the start.
Mm.
What did you go with, Finn?
I went with our meme-worthy track. One of our new favourites. I put Kyle Army as the third to last race.
Yes!
Yeah.
Carlos in.
It does look like a good track for racing. I just think the hairpin at the very, well, I don't know, the hairpin that's the opposite of turn 1, at the other side of turn 1. I think just the run up to that hairpin needs a bit of a rework. But I think if you change that bit, I think, yeah, it'll be pretty good for racing, I think. And maybe just a little bit wider as well, but that I can't complain.
Not a bad shout to have there.
What you saying? Wait, what was it?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, that one, sorry, yeah. Sorry, I found it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have done something a bit interesting here. It's my last tracks that alternate between each other. Headed back to the Middle East.
It's far
I've
more than
gone
what
with-
me and Brad have come up with.
I've gone with Abu Dhabi is one of the tracks because it's not. Yes, it's not particularly amazing. But,
Sorry, that was a
you know,
burp. That wasn't me actually being disgusted.
But it's just like, I know it's not the best, but it does have like the chicane, the new hairpin. Although I'm not a massive fan of the banked one at turn 9 now.
How dare you?
The hairpins are quite
Especially the
interesting.
best corner.
I mean, I prefer the chicane to be honest at the end of the first straight. But the point, I think it just needs to be. But also, alternating with it is Dubai. Now I'm not sure how many people have actually seen Dubai's circuit.
I've driven
But
it loads.
characteristically, it actually looks quite appealing.
Better.
And it looks better than Abu Dhabi, and that's why it would be the first track. Like, if I was picking between the two, I would primarily choose Dubai. I think seeing the cars go around, these new cars around there would be especially good. But looking at the layout itself, it is very.
Have you actually seen a
interesting.
lap of Dubai yet?
I haven't.
Jack?
I have not actually seen
Well, for
any
starters,
laps.
it's got actual elevation change.
Exactly.
It's got
You mentioned
bankings
that.
at 2 of the hairpins. It's got a better turn 1 for braking, so you can actually get some pretty exciting first laps because it's got a better turn 1.
It's 5.3 kilometers, 47 laps.
Yeah, I think that would be. I think from what we've, like the information we've just shared there, I think that would make for a very interesting Grand Prix. And let's be real, because cash is king in Formula One. If you're going to go to a country that was obviously going to pay a lot of money to
At
be
least
on
go
there, and
Dubai.
if you're going to put it in the Middle East, like Abu Dhabi and stuff like that, I think having a track like Dubai isn't going to be too bad. I think it's a solid track, and I would preferentially go there. But alternating between that and Abu Dhabi, I think, because they're going to invest loads of money in being on the calendar anyway, I feel like an alternation wouldn't be too terrible. But that's what I've gone with there. And I'll follow it up
That's
with
reasonable.
with round 20, which is my penultimate race. It's not your go. You've got 3 races to go. I've only got 2.
I feel
And
like
both of mine
have we messed this
absolute
up
bangers.
because I've only got 2 races to go.
Well, you said you both had 22 racetracks.
I've got 22 races, yeah.
I've got 21, and I've got 2 tracks left. Do you want to quickly go back, count through them? Make sure you've got them all?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
No, I've definitely got 22 because I've got 23. Like, I did it on slides. So
Did
I got
I-
pictures.
What was the last track I said?
Saudi.
Saudi.
Okay, yeah, so that's 20. Saudi's my 20th.
And how many you got
Kyle
left?
Army
2?
was my
2 more.
20th.
And you've got how many, Finn? Have you counted?
I've got 22 and I've got 2 more.
And the last one you said
And
was
you're on
Karama.
round.
Yeah, Kyle Army.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
me and Finn are right. You're not.
Yeah.
Joke.
Yeah, but I said I had 21 anyway, and I've got 21. I'm on round 20, and that
Okay.
would be Circuit of the
This
Americas.
is right. Ooh.
One
okay.
of the best tracks to have been built in the last decade or dozen years, I think. I think the rip-offs, like that's what they are. They are rip-offs of Maggots and Beckett's, and also the additional flowy bit of Suzuka. Then we've got all these hairpins, Turkey's turn 8, but going the other way. It takes a lot of the best features of other circuits, elevation changes, sweeping corners, low speed, medium speed, high speed, puts them into a track, but does it well. Like, let's be real, it is done incredibly well, and I think that there's not many complaints. There shouldn't be many complaints from any of us here anyway about COTA being a great track and probably deserving to be on the calendar. It's one of the best tracks to go to in America. Like, there are a lot of American tracks, and we've got 3 on the current calendar, including Miami and Las Vegas. And it feels horrible to prejudge a circuit, but Vegas is probably going to be. It'll probably be exciting for some reason, but I don't rate it. It just doesn't look appealing to me. Miami is absolutely whack awful. Nowhere near my calendar.
Can I just say,
But COTA is the one to go to for me.
Las Vegas, the only reason why it's big is because of the reputation of that place.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be good for racing. It's kind of, just like you said, it's going to be like Miami. It's going to be to some extent like Abu Dhabi. The only reason why Abu Dhabi was good was because of it was the final race of the season.
Just
and that's when
spectacle.
the points were made
It's
up,
just
yes.
spectacle.
But I don't think the whole point of it would be great. And I just think it's just reputation. That's my
But just look at the amount, like the slow speed corners, the hairpins at the end of the start finish straight, going into the hairpin just to start the back straight, the hairpin at the end of the back straight. All the amount of switchbacks. Like, do you remember? I mean, even last year, Hamilton versus Verstappen there briefly, even though Verstappen then just cruised on to victory. Like, all the battles that can be had at this track since its inception in 2012. The majority of the races there have been pretty good, and I think to have it as the penultimate race of the season is pretty solid. And I feel like America just has to have a Grand Prix.
And I will follow up Jack's penultimate race of the season with also putting COTA. Because it's such a good track for overtaking, and also it's one of the tracks where there's so many overtakes, but it's also backed up by on-track drama. Like Abu Dhabi is one of
Yes.
the easiest tracks to overtake at, but it still somehow ends up being a boring race.
Boring.
And
Yes.
China was the same before that. But Costa seems to have the good balance of having loads of overtakes and then also drama outside of the overtakes, like crashes or strategy blunders or some big storyline going into the race, like
That's another
Hamilton's
thing as
title
well.
decider and stuff like that.
The strategy around there is incredible. Do you remember in 2019 Hamilton versus Bottas? Do you remember Bottas dived to a two-stop? Hamilton ended up staying on the one. Then it came down to the final 5-6 laps. Bottas and Hamilton fighting, and then Verstappen caught him. And then it would have been very interesting. 2021 Verstappen versus Hamilton again, like, and also 2018, probably one of my favourite American Grand Prix. A three-way fight at the end of the race between Max Verstappen, who started 18th, Lewis Hamilton, who could have won the championship there, but he needed to win, and then Kimi Raikkonen, who then got his last ever Formula One win. And his last ever...
Sometimes.
No, it wasn't his last podium. That comes a little bit later. But it was just... Yeah, the track is great, man. So good.
I haven't put Kota in my calendar.
Oh
Because
my... You're
Not
fucking... insane.
But Valencia's still there. That's the
Valencia's
last time I
on
take the mick out of
so-
Valencia.
No, so the reason for Valencia being in, because I haven't watched Valencia, and so far what I've seen is it been an interesting track to watch with the new cars. Now, the first half of the season is always worse than the last half. The last half is the best, no matter what. So I've had to get
2012.
my best personal tracks. No, I haven't watched 2012. You see, you mong.
Watch it.
No.
China looks fantastic.
What right now? Yeah, should we just hold the podcast and just let me go watch 2012?
No, coming up to nearly
no,
2
no.
hours of recording now.
Exactly. That's my point. So I've had to include Silverstone, Austria, Netherlands, Australia, Karl Army, Hockenheim, Singapore, Qatar, Saudi. And then I've also introduced, I don't know if I've said it, but I did say Abu Dhabi. Because of reputation purposes. And that was always the last race. And it has got a lot of importance to it. Although, not saying it's the best track for action, like I've been pushing this whole time. But I do think it has to be on there. Now,
Okay.
unless I want the track to have 30 races on it, because you guys don't agree with certain things, that is what I've gone for. And I personally don't think, don't get me wrong, Kota's not bad, but I don't see the... Every time I've watched it, I've just been like, But that's through my faults. Now, I think this is the only thing that all three of us agree with.
Yeah. So
Sorry.
for the last race of the season,
Sorry,
is Brazil.
sorry. Yeah, it's Brazil.
What are you
There's
laughing
not
at,
much.
Jack?
It's
Go
the. It's right. Hold on. We'll talk about Brazil first, right? It's my personal favourite. It's incredible. It's the best track to hold a final race at. Period. It's more often than not the races are just quality, and I mean we spoke about very, very briefly the sprint races, with the sprint race in 2021. There, like, look at the Grand Prix we've had. We've been treated to some delicious Grand Prix there. Let's be real. 2019, 2021, 2022, 2016, 2018, 2012. Oh, mate. 2008, great race. 07 was also an interesting race. Not sure if Brad, I don't know. I don't think you would have seen that one, would you?
Nope.
It was an interesting race. Three-way battle for the title. Oh, mate. Brazil just gets me moist. Even moister when the weather is soggy.
Is that
moist.
luck? Is that luck?
Just, oh, mate. I don't have the right words to describe how much I love that track.
I think I'll let Jack just have that moment because I don't have much else to say. That's
I mean,
Yeah.
describe
I will have to say-
what you like about it. The corners are great as well.
from 2019, as I've been pushing Brazil bit, or sorry, not Brazil, but as I've been pushing action, 2019, Ferraris collide, Max and everything. Drama. 2020, drama. 2021, Lewis at the back, drama. 2022,
Wait, can we just
drama.
Can we just put out of it? In 2020, I think he realised that there wasn't actually a race there because of COVID, and he just said 2020 drama.
I mean, he's not wrong.
I would never say such thing. I
the
only spit
2020
facts.
Brazilian Grand Prix has been better than 90% of races held at Azerbaijan and Valencia.
Why?
Don't lie to me.
And it's been better than 100% of the races ever. Like, that's not true, actually. 2012
That's not
exists.
true.
It's been better than
You
95%
hold
of the
your
races.
words, young
That's
man.
why I said.
It's been better than all of the races at Miami because let's
Yep.
be real, Miami is shit. Can we now? Is that all the tracks done, right?
That's
Yeah.
what mine
Can we
done,
have a quick
Right.
rundown of everyone's calendar?
Right. No, we could go back and give our opinions now, right? How the sweet merry piss could you think that the Nordschleifer, Valencia, and Brands Hatch are a good idea?
No, I agree on
Coates'
Brands
not
Hatch.
for you.
So,
Coates is
let me
not for you.
explain. Let me explain.
Brands
So,
Hatch, okay. We'll take Brands Hatch out of the equation.
So-
Valencia,
Equation.
I get your thing. But
Okay.
the Nordschleifer over Kota, are you taking the piss for
mate,
an F1 race?
imagine Nordschleifer wider. That would be
Yeah.
insane. It would be like no other track that's ever on the calendar. It would be nothing
'cause
like
it's not like
Monaco.
any other track.
Yes,
But
exactly.
it's
That's
just-
the point. It would be a one of a kind thing. It would probably be about 10 laps in it. The carnage, the everything, the action, they wouldn't have enough cameras for it. It would be amazing. Don't fucking
about-
judge me because that track would be great. Yes, it doesn't support the cars with their width. Make the track wider and we will
Wider.
have action.
I just personally,
But
I just don't
Valencia,
think. Yeah.
Valencia, like I said,
Over-
I haven't seen enough on it. I just want to watch
Yeah,
it. You
I
guys
know.
can judge
Yeah.
because you guys have seen
Yeah.
people racing.
Okay, well, quick, just who wants to run down their full calendar first?
I
And
will
we
do it
just-
first
we
because
give
I've got
a ra-
nothing
okay.
to say.
We,
And I
give
can
some
end my
ratings then.
recording, and then I can watch the argument on other people's POVs.
Yes,
So-
sure.
As we said at the start,
Sorry,
pre-season.
sorry. Go on, Phil.
Right, so Spain, Catalonia is the pre-season testing. Then it's Australia, Bahrain, Portimao, Baku, Road America, Imola, Monaco, Canada, well, Montreal, Spielberg, Silverstone, Nürburgring, Le Mans, Hungaroring, Spa, Zandvoort, Mugello, Sepang, Losail, Saudi Arabia, Kyalami, Kota, Interlagos. And
I'm
then post-season
moderately.
testing will be at Dubai because I've just
I
been
would
told
also
that.
say-
Barring one track, that is a fantastic.
Barring a
calendar.
couple for me, I feel like that is a great calendar, yes.
Thank you.
I think actually maybe two.
And on that
but
bombshell, I'm going to end the
definitely
recording
one
now
track.
because it's up to 2 hours. So thanks everyone for watching. You can listen to their rant on the other POVs of this R&D podcast. So glad we have a name now. Okay, goodbye everyone.